Good morning. This is the Virtual PBX admin training. We do record these trainings, so if you can't stay for the whole time, you can come back later. This training will last about 30 to 40 minutes, depending on load times. The purpose of this training is to show you where things are. For in-depth, like step-by-step, you're going to want to use that support page link in the show notes. There's a couple other links there that will also be helpful. And with that in mind, let's go ahead and get started. To get logged into your Dash account, you need to go to dash.virtualpbx.com. And when you get there, we need your username, which is your email address, which should be all lowercase letters, your password, which is case sensitive, and then your account name, which is your organization name. Now, if that doesn't work, then above the sign-in bar, there is a forgot your info link. You can click on that. We still need that email address. And then we need only one of the two following pieces of information. So we need either the account name or a phone number on the account. And then you would click on reset password. This will send you an email. Follow the instructions in those emails, which is to change your password. It will then log you back out. Enter in your new password in the password field. You have the option to click on remember me, and then click on sign in to actually go back in and make changes that you wanted to make. Once you get logged in, you'll be taken to your dashboard page, which is just a snapshot of your account as it currently stands. Up here at the very top has your name and your account name. If you click on your name here, it's going to open a big pop-up, starts you off on your user account page. This is where you went to go to change your password. As a system admin over on the left, you have the account level settings. The main thing that has changed is the time zone and language. So you can set the time zone for the appropriate time zone for your location. For the US, that's typically you want to do a search for New York, Chicago, Denver, or Los Angeles. As a system admin, you can also manage add-ons for the account. This includes things like text forward, multiple auto attendants, advanced reporting, and dynamic caller ID. There's, generally speaking, going to be an increase in your bill. There'll be a pop-up to warn you what that increase will be, and you have to confirm it to continue. Over here, also on the left under billing with the billing portal, and then we have the access customer portal here. That is where you go to change your payment method as well as to see previous invoices. And any system admin can come to the billing section and click on cancel account, and then click on the red cancel account button over here on the right. There's some forms to fill out. This will close your account at the end of the current billing cycle, at which time your final bill will be sent to you. And then we'll click close up here towards the top right. Now, to the right of your name, most of you will have a D&D toggle. That stands for do not disturb. Mine is currently active. This means I am not taking calls right now. So calls to my user are going straight to voicemail. If I clicked on it again, it would then turn off. The little phone icon here, this opens a new tab, takes you to webphone.virtualpbx.net. If you have a web phone device on your user, you can use your Dash login information on that page and you can get logged in. This allows you to use Chrome, Firefox, or Safari to make and receive calls. Those browsers only on the desktop versions, not on the mobile versions. And that does count as a web device. The little speech bubble icon, this opens a new tab, takes you to virtualtext.app. That page has its own login information, and that is where you would go to make use of the virtual text feature. Question mark icon here, this opens up a chat bubble at the bottom right of your browser window and allows you to speak to our support team so they can help you with various support or various features that you're working with. The hamburger icon, or the three horizontal lines here, that's the menu icon. This gets you to other Dash features, which we'll be talking about at the end of the video. And the far right, there is the logout button, which logs you out of this page. Now in the middle here, we got total users. So I have six users on this account who make and receive calls. Then I have total devices and a breakdown of the types of devices. These three here, soft phone, web phone, and SIP phone, these are kinds of VoIP phones. So it's something to be aware of. Total numbers, I have 14. And then two breakdowns. Assigned numbers, just a number in use. Spare numbers, a number I'm not currently using. And then we have US DID and US toll-free. US DID just means a US local number. US toll-free is a US Canadian toll-free, right? 800-888 all the way down to 833. Conference bridges, I have 3. This means I've enabled the conference feature on 3 of my users who host or moderate a conference. Up here at the top right are my main numbers. These numbers all behave the same way. They're going to the same part of my system. They're all going to have the same main greeting, for example. Then we have the conference room number. You can have multiple conference room numbers if you want. They're all going to the same set of conference rooms. This is the phone number everyone dials to join a conference. This includes your staff. The fax box number, this is your inbound fax number. And this also allows you to edit the fax box for allowing for outbound faxing, which we'll get to later. The company directory, there's 2 links here. The first is CSV, that just downloads a CSV file, which you open with your favorite spreadsheet program. It's going to show your users with their names, their email addresses, their extension numbers, and their devices. The softphone download link is for use with the VirtualPBX desktop softphone application. So if you're using our softphone app on a Mac or Windows PC, you can download this file, upload it to your softphone, and in the contact list, you'll see all your staff members listed there and the status of their VirtualPBX softphones, i.e. if they're on a call or not. VirtualPBX Store, this opens up a new tab, takes you to store.virtualpbx.com, where you can order things like a VoIP phone. And the account realm, unique to each account. This is one of the 3 pieces of information you need to program or provision a third-party softphone. It's also important for outbound faxing. And we're going to go back up here towards the top in this blue bar. We have the caller ID button. And when you click on this, this allows you to select one of your main numbers. That becomes the default number for the account. For instance, this is what your VoIP phones would use by default for their outbound caller ID, which allows them to make the outbound call. Hold music, this allows you to upload a media file, in this case, a .wav or .mp3 file. We just click the upload button and click on browse to find that button or that file. Click the up arrow icon and then save changes. This file will become the default hold music for all your staff members. This is after a call has come to your user, they've picked up the call, right, with their VoIP phone, and then they press the hold button on their VoIP phone. That's when this media file will play. And that MP3 or .wav file up to 1 megabyte in size. Now hours is part of main number, so we're going to wait on that for a little bit, and instead over here on the left, under the left menu, we're going to click on users. This shows your users on the account. The people with the blue suit icon are your system admins. The gray people icon are your standard users. Up here at the top, you would click on Add User, and you fill out the form. The main thing to know is the email address used for login needs to be unique for each user. This is how your system communicates with your staff. Voicemail notifications, password resets. Create a password for the user. Enter in a main extension number. By default, the system will automatically create a voicemail box for the user. You have the option to include them in the user directory, which you can change later. The send emails to an alternate address. If you put a check mark here, there's a box that you can enter in an email address. This is if you want those communications to your staff member to go to a different email address than the one they used for login. Something you can also change later. And something we do recommend here is send credentials to the user. Right? You just click on the box in front of that. And what that means is when you click on these buttons at the bottom, the user gets sent an email welcoming them to the Dash account and includes their login information. Now, once a user is created, you can click on their name and you can update the information, right? So if you accidentally mistype their name, you can correct that here. You can change their credentials as well as change their voicemail box PIN number. Here's the option to send emails to an alternate address, and here's the option to be in the user directory or not. This pull down allows you to change a user into an admin or an admin to a user. Little time icon here. This allows you to change the time zone specific to this user, right? So their voicemail timestamps are correct. The flag icon is the display language for the user, and the ringing timeout defaults to 20 seconds, which is plenty of time for a VoIP phone or a landline. The extension box, you can have users have multiple extensions if you want them. Just click on Add Extension and then enter that new extension number and then save changes. Users can have their own phone numbers, and these are the options to add down here at the bottom. The main thing to know about adding phone numbers to a user is the phone number on the user is available 24/7. Has no holidays or anything like that. For specific instructions you're going to use that support page link, and you can do a search for adding a phone number or DID phone numbers. The device box for the user is where you would add devices directly to the user, which is what we do recommend. I'm only going to cover adding the soft phone here. Whenever you add a soft phone or web phone, you're going to get this warning message. Please read it at least once. And then you click close. And then a big box will show up here. And you'll need to give it a device name. And right now, this is defaulting to a third-party soft phone, meaning you're using somebody else's soft phone app, which is fine. If you choose to do so, you're going to want to copy the SIP username, the SIP password, and the account realm. And for the SIP password, if you just click on the box, it will reveal the password. Please do not change it. Now, if you want to use our soft phone app, then where it says View Configuration Guide, just below that is where it says Use Third-Party Application. It's very hard to read. This is actually a toggle, so you can click on it. So now it says Use VirtualPBX Application. You still need to give it a name. Then you click on Create Device, and then you click on Save Changes. Once you click on Save Changes on the user gets an email saying their VirtualPBX soft phone is ready. In the body of the email will be their username and password for use with the app, as well as download links so they can download the app to their preferred device. This is the only place you can add the VirtualPBX soft phone, is directly on the user. Now, for adding other devices, you can use the support page link. You should also see in the show notes the auto provisioning phones document, which is for adding the SIP phones. So Yealink, Polycom, Cisco, etc. All right, user features. We'll go through most of these fairly quickly. Caller ID number. This is for users with their own phone numbers. This allows you to change their outbound call ID to the phone number on the user. Voicemail box. This was enabled on the users when you created them. Voicemail boxes can hold up to 100 messages. After that, they are full. And by default, we're sending an email to the user, and the body of the email was, are call details, and then there's an MP3 attachment to listen to the message. Follow me. This is for users with multiple devices. So this user has 3 devices. Right now, when calls come to this user, all 3 of their devices ring. If I click on Follow Me, click Enable up here, now I can choose which devices that will ring. So under the Do Not Ring, I uncheck the devices I want to make use of. And I have these green sliders that I can adjust. Up here at the top is a total ring time. It defaults to 120 seconds, but I can change that if I want to. I can also click Distribute. So now it equalizes the time between the 2 devices. I can click and drag, and then click Distribute again to change the order. And then I would click on Save Changes. Now, one thing to know is if this user is part of a group, which we'll be getting to next, calls from the group ignore the Follow Me setting, right? So all of his devices will ring. Fax box, this allows you to create a fax box specifically for this user. You can either add a phone number specifically for their fax box or a new extension number. I do generally recommend a phone number as that gives the most versatility to the user. Conference bridge, this is where you enable the conference feature for a user so they can host or moderate a conference. Call forwarding, this allows for call forwarding. Your users can enable call forwarding themselves, either directly on their VoIP phone or via the user portal. As an admin, the key feature for you would be the failover mode. So for your users with VoIP phones only, you can go in and enable this, and if their VoIP phones become unregistered, the system would automatically forward the calls to the number you designate. Customized call recording. This allows you to set up call recording for inbound and outbound calls. Music on hold. This allows you to upload a hold music file specifically for this user, .wave.mp3. Do not disturb. This allows you to manage the do not disturb feature for a specific user. And hot desking, this allows for a user to log into a VoIP phone that they're sitting at. And again, for specific instructions on these, you're going to want to use that support page link and do a search for the feature name. All right, with users and devices set up, we can go to groups. Groups are departments, also referred to as hunt groups or ring groups. Up here at the top, you would click on Add Group. You need to give it a name. You need to give it an extension number. Then after that, you click and drag your staff members you want to be in the group. Click on Create Group. Once a group is created, you can click on its name. If you need to change the name, you can easily do so. And then you also have group call attempts. This is how many times the system will offer the inbound call to the members of the group. There's little arrows here at the far right, so you can increase or decrease that as you see fit. And then save changes, or if you need to remove a group, you would just click on Delete Group. The members box of the groups shows you who's assigned to the group and how you're offering the calls to them. This is in this case, calls are being offered in order every time, right? So Jeanette always gets the call first, then David, then Dante. Even if Jeanette is on a call, she would still be offered the call first for 40 seconds before it rolls over. Now, as an admin, I could do something like this, so that way that second caller doesn't have to wait quite as long before someone can answer the call if Jeanette's busy. And because these are sliders, I could do something like this too. Right? I can set up what's called blast ringing or ring all. Oops. All right, so like this, it's whoever answered the call first gets it. Otherwise, I can click distribute. Up here, timestamps, defaults 2 minutes. You can change that as you see fit. You can add additional staff members if you have them down here. Just click on the box in front of the person, click select. They get added to the front, but then you click distribute, and then again, it shortens the time for everybody. If you need to change the order, you can click and drag to do so, and then click distribute, and then save changes. Groups have extension numbers. They can have multiple if you want them to. Just click on add extension. Groups can have their own phone number. Either buy a new number or add from a spare number that you're not using. Just like under users, this number is available 24/7. Group features. There's only a couple of these, so we'll run through these real quick. Bringing back, this is hold music for the group. You would click up here to enable, upload a .wave or MP3 file up to 1 megabyte, click the up arrow icon and save changes. The main thing to know is the system will not loop the file for you, so you want to make sure that the play duration of this file matches or exceeds the total hold time or ring time of the group, right? Once your staff members pick up, the file stops playing, obviously. Next action, if your staff members aren't able to pick up, what do you want them to do? Or what do you want the system to do with the call? You want to click up here to enable, and this pull down is the destination. Typically voicemail box, but you can send it to another group, to a user, a specific phone, what have you, and then click on Save Changes. Allow call forwarding. If you enable this, your users can make use of call forwarding for calls to the group. Caller ID prepend, this is a VoIP phone feature. This allows you to add additional text or numbers in front of the caller ID information that's displays on your staff members' VoIP phones. Typically, you're going to want to do one or the other, not both, as that can be confusing, also quite long, but purely up to you. All right, so with users and devices, with groups, we can now go to main number. First section, main company numbers. These are the default numbers your customers call to reach you. You can add new numbers here if you want to. If you unassign a number, any place you unassign a number, it does not delete the number. It just moves it to your spare number list. Also, any place you have a number, you have this gear icon. You can edit the caller ID, E911, or prepend information. Office hour strategy. You have 24-hour open office or custom office hours. If you choose custom office hours, click on the box in front of the day of the week that you're open, or for each day of the week that you're open. And then in these boxes here to the right, set your open hours in 24-hour or military time. If we scroll down here, you also have the option to be closed for lunch every day at the same time that you're open. We just put a check mark here and then enter your lunch hours in the boxes provided. And then click on Save Changes. And then we come down to incoming call handling. So for your main number, during your open hours or your after hours or your holidays, how do you want the system to handle the calls? So this first option here, calls are coming to the virtual receptionist. This is a link. And when you click on it, this is where you edit or determine what happens. So your main menu, these are what people can press on their phones to navigate through your phone system. And to give them options, you click on Add Route, gives you a new row. You have 0 through 9, the star key, and the default action. And then here, anything that you've added on your system, whether that's a user, a group, virtual extensions, devices, voicemail boxes, etc. So here we can say if you want to leave a message, go there. The greetings, this is where you give instructions, right? You want to probably say thank you for calling, but then you have greeting options. Text to speech is just this. You type it in and the system reads it back in a computerized or robotic voice. The main thing to know is the system names the file for you. So you'll have to go in later to change that under the greetings tab, which we'll get to. You can upload your own file, right? .wave.mp3 up to 1 megabyte in size. Choose from existing recordings. This pull down shows everything on the account in terms of media files. You can select which is appropriate. You can record it over the phone. Now, when the system says pick up a phone registered to the account, it means pick up a VoIP phone. If you don't have VoIP phones or you don't want to use them, that's fine. Instead of that, then under settings, where it says allow outside recording, you want to turn this on. This means you can call in from any phone number into your system and record over the phone. You will still need this PIN number, which is specific to this time of day, meaning it only works during my open hours. So if I called in on Saturday, this PIN number would not work. And what happens is you call in, you hear your main greeting, you enter in the PIN number, the system recognizes it, and then you record over the phone. That means you're going to overwrite the recording you just heard when you first called in. Professional recording services, when you click order, this opens a new tab, takes you to Snap Recordings, where you can order a recording done by professional voice actors or actresses. They bill you directly. They have several different packages. It's worth taking a look just to see what they offer. Number of retries on misdial. This is how many times your inbound callers can make a mistake. In this case, they have one mistake, which means they get 2 total attempts. Dialing timeout is how much time the system listens for additional button presses. This is for when people are entering a multi-digit extension number, typically anywhere from 2 to 5 is plenty of time. Allow dialing extensions. By default, this is on, and this just means if they enter a valid extension number, the system will transfer the call. If I turn this off, this means my inbound callers can only press my menu options. Everything else is an invalid entry. Suppress the playing of invalid entry. So inbound caller calls in, they keep, say, press 7. Right? After that second attempt, the system would say, we did not recognize your entry. Now, I have a default action in place, at which point it would then transfer the call to Jeanette's voicemail box. If I don't have a default entry, then the system says we did not recognize your entry, goodbye. So in that first case where I have that default action, I would probably want to suppress the playing of that message. And that way, when on that second failed attempt, the system says transferring your call, and this transfers to the default action. Right. Any changes you make to your main menu, your greetings, or your settings, you want to click Save down here at the bottom. And when you come back here to incoming call handling, click on Save Changes, and then you're all set. Now, for my after hours, I chose the second option here. This is referred to as the live operator answer option. This first pull down are things on your system. Typically, you would select a user, a group, or a device. Right? Basically, giving someone or several people a chance to answer the call first. If they can't, the call is then sent to the virtual receptionist. And then here you have your menu options or greetings. This is my after hours, so things are a little bit different. But then I would click Save and then Save Changes again. For holidays, I chose this third option. The first pull down are things on your system. Users, groups, devices, etc. There's one additional option, which is skip to voicemail. And then the second option is a voicemail box on your system. So any voicemail boxes you selected or created, and then you would click on Save Changes. Main conference number. You can have multiple conference room numbers if you want. Once you do, you can also click on the custom greeting. You can choose to enable, and then it's a text-to-speech greeting. Even if you don't have this enabled, the system says, welcome to the conference, and then prompts you to enter the conference room number and PIN number. Main fax box number, you can only have the one fax box number, but you click Edit Fax Box here. The inbound notification, in the box to the right, you want to put in an email address here, and that email address is sent a message every time a fax comes through, and there'll be a PDF attachment of the fax itself. Just be warned, if someone dials your fax box number and then hangs up, this email still gets sent a message saying there was a failed inbound fax attempt. The email permissions box, in the box to the right, you can enter in a specific email address if you want, or as is shown here, you can put your company's email domain. And when you do that, that means anyone at your company can send a fax out on this account, even if they're not a user on the account. All they have to do is, in this case, they would create an email from their VirtualPBX email account, in this case. Then in the to field of that email, they want to put the destination number. That is +1 area code and phone number, no spaces, dashes, or parentheses. Then they put the little @ symbol and then the account realm. Then after that, all they need to do is attach a PDF or TIFF file. The system looks at the to field, the from field, and the attachment. Anything you type in the subject line or the body of the email does not get transmitted. One recipient per email, one attachment per email. So if you have signature files, you want to make sure you remove those before you send them out. Right. Auto attendance is a plan-specific feature and or add-on feature. This allows you to create additional menus. Whether you want them as a sub-menu option or something else, that's fine. You would click on Add Attendant. You need to give it a name. You need to give it an extension number. Click on Create Attendant. They start off as unavailable in main menu, meaning they're standalone. If I click Available to make them available in main menu means they can be a menu option off of my virtual receptionist. Auto attendants can have their own phone numbers. This allows them to have different main greetings from your main system and a different entry point. For callers, we have a little wrench icon here. And I have open hours, after hours, and holidays. This matches what we set up under the main number. In all cases, they're going to a virtual receptionist, so you would need to set up a greeting and routing options. The device tab shows your devices on the account. Red means they're unregistered, so we cannot send calls to them. Green means they are registered, so we can send calls to them. You can add devices here if you want, although again, we recommend that you add them directly to the user. You can also click on the wrench icon here, especially for a VoIP phone. And if you go to advanced, the emergency caller ID, if you have a phone number that you set up an address for, you can associate it with a specific VoIP phone, right? So if you have remote staff working, you can make sure that they have the correct address associated with their VoIP phone. So if they ever have to dial 911 from their VoIP phone, their correct address is sent to emergency services. Greetings, this shows your greeting files on the account. You can add new ones up here at the top. Just give it a name, click on browse, click create greeting. Again, .wav or .mp3 file up to 1 megabyte. The name just means what it's called. Source TTS is text to speech. Upload means the file was uploaded. Recording means it was recorded over the phone. The play icon lets you play the file directly in your browser. If that doesn't work, or you wish to have a backup copy of your greeting, you can download the file. We have the little wrench icon here under edit. This allows you to change the name of the file, so it's something that's easy for you to recognize, or you can delete the file if you don't need it any longer. Next up, the numbers tab shows your numbers in use and where they're assigned. You got the little gear icon here, so you can update the caller ID and E911. Spare numbers are numbers you're not currently using. And if you want to get rid of these numbers, you would click on the box in front, and then the option to delete shows up. And you would click on delete numbers to confirm that deletion to remove them from the account. Buy numbers would add more spare numbers to the account. Port would start the port process, meaning you want to move a phone number from your current carrier, say from like AT&T to VirtualPBX. You would just click on new port request, give it a name, choose local toll-free, and then follow the on-screen instructions. You can use that support page link and do a search for porting, and that will show you everything to expect. Voicemail boxes shows your voicemail boxes on the account. You can create new ones up here at the top. Just give it a name, voicemail box number, and PIN number. Click on create voicemail box. Any voicemail box that has a heading under user was created when the user was created. But on any of them, you can click on the little wrench icon. The voicemail box number and PIN number is what you would use to access the voicemail box over the phone. The main thing to know is the voicemail box number is not the same as an extension number. And then after that, you've got advanced options. So first we have the greeting media. You can upload files directly here, right? .wav, .mp3, up to 1 megabyte. There's two options. You have media and temporary, right? Media is the one you would normally use. Temporary is for out of office or vacation messages. If you have something selected in temporary, only the temporary file plays, right? The media file will not play again until you set temporary back to none. Recipients, your user voicemail boxes have a built-in recipient, but for any voicemail box that you want to add more to, you would click on the recipient tab here and then add new recipient, and then enter the email address. Keep clicking add until you're done, and then save changes. And then options. Once you have a media file in place and recipients, go ahead and click on already set up. Down here is where you would make sure that the attached messages to email is selected. Now, if you have a voicemail box that you don't want to get full, like this is my support voicemail box, then I would choose this here option, delete after notification, meaning after that email sent with the voicemail notification, the system deletes the voicemail message from the voicemail box so it doesn't become full. Text forward, this is an add-on feature. This allows you to have phone numbers accept inbound text messages and then forward them on. You're going to want to use the support page link on the specific instructions. Virtual extensions is a plan-specific feature. This allows you to create additional extension numbers without adding full users. These virtual extensions can have one device, right? Because they're extension numbers, they're accessible from the virtual receptionist. They cannot be added to groups, right? Because they're not users. Call logs shows your call history on the account. You have today, you have this week, you have this month, and custom lets you go back up to a year, and then you would click on filter. All of those options, you have the option to download as a CSV file. And you can scroll down and see your various calls. A green arrow to the right is a call coming into the system. If you click on it, it expands out. Each entry underneath that first line is a leg of the call. So it's possible you can have a call show several legs, like a call going to a group. If you have a yellow arrow going to the left, that would be a call going out from the system, right? Outbound call. Little fire extinguisher icon here. This will create an email for you, pre-addressed to support@virtualpbx.com. It will have the technical details of the call. Please type in the context so the support team knows why exactly you're sending it in. Feature codes. These are ways for your VoIP phone users to access Dash features directly from their VoIP phone. You definitely want to use the support page link. You can do a search for feature codes. You can also do a search for phone commands cheat sheet, which has the information and the context help. Excuse me. Over here, we're going to go up to the menu icon. We've been in the dashboard. Call center are for queues. This is actually now part of a different product, but you can look at the ACD QUEUES promo video to see what queues are about. Dynamic caller ID. This is an add-on or plan-specific feature. This allows you to create rules to change your outbound caller ID for your VoIP phones to other phone numbers on your account. Faxes is your fax manager. This allows you to get to any fax box on your account to see the status of your faxes. Reports, this opens up a new tab, takes you to reports.virtualpbx.com, which has its own login information. And this is where you would check on or create your own reports. In the show notes, you can look at the advanced reporting demo. Voicemails, this allows you as an admin to get to any voicemail box on the account. So if you're getting reports of a full voicemail box, you can come here and check and see what's going on. Integration AWS is a plan-specific feature. This allows you to link your Dash account to an Amazon Web Services account. Blacklists. This allows you to create a list of phone numbers that you're blocking from reaching your system or reaching your staff members. You're going to want to definitely use the show notes, the support page link, and do a search for blacklists. Call recording. So on this account, since it has AWS enabled, it takes me here. It would show you my recordings that are under AWS, which I don't really have any because this is a test account. If you're not making use of AWS, that's fine. You would instead go to recordings.virtualpbx.com. That page, you would just use your Dash login information to get logged in, and then you would see your recordings there. Number manager, this will take you back to your spare number page. User portal, every user has access to their own user portal. It starts off on your voicemail tab, so you can play back the message, you can download it, or little box here at the very front, this allows you to change its status. Call history, you can see your call history and do search for the date range. The fax tab only works for a user that has their own fax box, but they can see their fax history. The contact list shows everything on the account. This is helpful for transferring calls as well as seeing feature codes. Conference tab, this is for users that have the conference feature enabled. And over here on the right is where they would update their PIN numbers. These PIN numbers should be different from each other. Settings and Devices tab, right here is where your staff members can make use of call forwarding. They just put a check mark here, put +1 area code and phone number, no spaces, dashes, or parentheses. They can choose which of these options they want to make use of, and then click on Save, and that would enable call forwarding. They would come back and then uncheck this and then click Save to disable call forwarding. Webhooks is a plan-specific feature. This allows you to link your Dash account to other software, and it's essentially some level of programming. In the show notes, you can look at the Introduction to Zapier webinar to see some examples of webhooks. You can also go to developer.virtualpbx.com to see sample code. SMS registration, this is what you need to go through to make use of the virtual text feature. The first page is basically what's going on about it. Down here at the bottom is the link to our support page article about this process. Start registration is where you would go and then click on the register link. And then the register status shows you the status of your registration. And that is everything. So we'll go ahead and end the training today. Thank you for your time today, and I hope you have a wonderful day.